Hello.
Hello.
We have three kind of guiding questions to help us structure our conversation, but we can definitely tangent off. First question is, what were your thoughts on this episode? I was listening to this episode on I don't even remember what part of my drive.
It was a 5-hour drive.
Memphis to St. Louis?
I think so.
That sounds right. Immediately my reaction after listening to it was like, I have to save this. I can't forget it. I have to send it to Annie. There was a part of the conversation when Alexi, who's the guest, she's talking, and I'm like, holy crap, she sounds like a 2.0, 3.0 version of me. I don't know if at any point in time you ever thought you were talking to me instead of her, or listening to her.
Not really, but...
Okay, it's just me.
Yeah, I think it was just you. I really enjoyed the episode. I thought it was a really good recommendation just because a lot of things she said, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Or yeah, this is something that I could use in my life right now. Or like something that I could hear in my life. I really enjoyed especially the second part of the episode just because she touched upon a lot about like how perfectionism is related to ego and how perfectionism and our ego just wants to like take control. It's very similar to how I think in terms of my creative work. So hearing her talk about that and then like realizing and understanding how that was how I am as well was reassuring and like something that I could like work on.
Can you specify the ego and the perfectionism part again? Because I don't remember that part of it
that part was, it's been like 2 weeks, so I don't really remember specifically. Everyone has an ego, everyone has a soul.
Right.
And these two parts are always in battle with each other because the ego wants to take control, but the soul just wants to like do what they feel like is what they want to do and not care about like what other people think. How that ties into perfectionism is people that always want things to be perfect, their egos are pretty big because as a perfectionist you want to take control in order to learn, in order to grow. You can't not fail.
Would you say you still, like, in the balance between ego and soul, your ego still takes up more space than soul?
I would say so. I think right now it does take up more space, but I definitely think it's like slowly getting smaller.
Right.
Like very slowly.
Is there a point where you're going to be saying like, oh, like I feel okay with this balance of soul versus ego? Like a 55-45 or like 60-40, 50-50, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it's an ongoing process, and I think it's going to be something that I will have to continuously work on for the rest of my life. I can't see myself as someone who's like just doesn't care about that stuff. What part of the episode stuck out to you the most? The two parts that stuck out to me was, well, the first part is basically everything that I explained earlier. I also wrote down some things that like stuck out to me about that idea, because a lot of times my perfectionism kind of gets in my way of actually doing things and like starting things, because I'm like, if I'm not good at it right away, then I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that like kind of gets in the way of what I want to do. So Alexi talked about how a lot of people think that you need to have the confidence first before you take the first step. Experts in the field or like self-help people will also talk about that. But she says that you should take the step first, and then the confidence will build as you like keep working at it and like failing, learning, and then growing from that.
If you fail, you know what to work on, and then if you succeed, you'll build that confidence. So either way, it really is like a win-win situation.
Yeah, you say it a lot better than I do. She also says, like, failure is a type of feedback. Failure is a sign that we are in action. Yes, I remember that's something she said. You just need to trust yourself and take that first step into the unknown. As scary as it is, like, that's just what you gotta do.
That's terrifying for you.
It's terrifying for me because it's like, I also don't like embarrassment. What she would ask herself is, what is the worst that can happen or will happen? Embarrassment hurts, obviously, when it happens, but it's for the better.
The premise of this podcast was like what happened after she was sexually assaulted. She was raped at gunpoint. And as you know, that's like something that hits me very close to home. She like locked everything up in a little cage, and she did that basically to protect herself. So after what happened to me, there were a couple of people that I really looked to and really listened to. So like Kesha, I really listened to her latest album, and I'm like, holy fuck, like that was my anthem for pretty much a year. But also like Lady Gaga, and even like Christine Ford, Dr. Christine Ford, when she was talking about how like after something traumatic happens, it's seared into your memory, like that feeling, the humiliation that you feel, and you kind of like lock it up, and you do that because you really want to protect yourself. So Alexi, she was able to unlock it after 6 years, and the one thing that triggered her to start thinking about it again was her trip to Africa with one of her friends. Like, her friend was just like blubbering all over the place because she was like so thankful and emotional and all of that, and Alexi was like, you've got a lot of emotions. I'm still an emotional person in certain respects.
Well, what I was wondering, and we kind of talked about this before, the reason why she was kind of like, I guess she was confused at why her friend had so many emotions, and then later on when she reflected back on it, she realized it's because she was jealous that she couldn't feel those same emotions. Is that also how you felt?
I definitely did. Now, I can't say, like, I'm going down the same emotional path that she's taken. I don't know to what level of, like, separation she had between her and emotions. For me, there definitely was a time when I was just, like, numb to the world. Like, the only emotion that I felt was anger. It was just, like, red, black anger. Like, when you're angry, it just gets tiring after a while. And then that anger just, like, turned to sadness, where it was just like, oh, like, one, I'm really tired of being angry, but two, I miss having emotions. Like, there was definitely a time period where it was just, I was kind of like a zombie living life. After my trip with Paloma, that one winter, we call it, the rough trip. It was the first time that I, like, met Paloma's boyfriend. In my mind, I'm like, I'm happy for you, Paloma. I really am happy for you. But in my heart, I was just like, I was mad. And I took that out on her boyfriend. Her and her boyfriend. I didn't, like, verbally attack. I didn't physically attack or anything. But I think I was just, like, harsher on him as the first meeting. Like, I wasn't my usual chatty Cathy kind of self, and she definitely picked up on it. We had to deal with that for a couple of months, and I think that, like, really helped me gain back some, like, emotional stability. So I do feel lots of emotions now. I just don't have it in the romantic sense. Did that answer your question, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? So there was another thing that Alexi said that really resonated with me, and it was, in this world where there's so much information on the internet, you know, like Instagram, social media, it's so easy to consume all this information and not do anything about it. You're just consuming it and then spitting it out to the next person that comes along. And she said it's, like, kind of important to, you know, from the things that you're consuming, take an action item. Oh my god, that sounds so businessy. Do something with it. Don't just let it go through one ear and out the other.
That's kind of the second thing that stuck out to me too, because I totally agree with what she said. A lot of times we'll read all these books that have, like, tips and tricks on how to be more efficient, how to be, like, a better person, whatever. Any type of, like, self-improvement, self-help books. I definitely enjoy reading those type of books, but I know that I'm guilty of not implementing those things into my life. And like she said, it's like you can consume all this information, but if it's not reflective of your life, then it's kind of pointless for you to read all of these things. I think that leads to our third question.
What is the action item that you want to take away from this podcast? I was talking to another friend. She was talking about her goals, and I was saying, well, like I really want to have better, deeper conversations with the people that I meet on the road. So we basically made a chart of how we're going to keep each other accountable. It's only week 1. It's going pretty good, though. I did talk to I was telling you, my hiking guide for an entire day, but that was because it was just me and him, so it would have been really awkward if nobody talked. Each month, my goal is to have like good conversations like that twice a month. So I just need to find somebody else for this month.
For me, it's like what we talked about, implementing things that you read. I recently haven't really read anything, so I like don't have anything currently that I'm trying to implement in my life, but I did make a pact with myself that the next time I do read like a book or something that has some sort of tip, I will take action into doing.
This was a faster way to talk about the podcast, and we covered some more things than we initially talked about.
Yeah, there were like new things that popped out.
You should also listen to the episode, which we linked up above, somewhere in the blog post. If you do listen to it, let us know in the comments below, because we want to hear about it. We want to have that conversation with you guys. And, yeah. Annie and I will share more things that we enjoy, like books or podcasts.
If you did enjoy it, please let us know in some way or another so we know that this is something you guys want to continue watching, reading about.
Yeah. All right. Peace.